Hey guys, this is Mark for the Gun Guy channel, and today we are going to talk about one of my all-time favorite competition guns. No, not the Shadow 2, because this gun is under 500 bucks, and it is the Canik TP9SFx. Going to take a look at this gun right after this. Hey guys, this is Mark for the Gun Guy channel, and welcome back. Today we are talking about the Canik TP9SFx. The way that I actually wound up getting this gun was I was shooting low left a lot with my other guns. Obviously the gun's fault and not mine.
He's lying! Huh?
And so I really kind of wanted a good high quality pistol, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. And at that time, the TP9SFx was sort of getting phased out by the Canik Rival. And so the TP9SFx, which was listing for around $570 at the time, or that's what you could actually buy the gun for, had dropped down to $420-ish or so. And when I saw it, I was like, I am gonna get that, just like, because that'll make me a great shot, you know, just like if I bought a Gibson ES355, like the Lucille, I would be playing guitar like B.B. King. Neither one of those really worked out well for me, but with the Canik, I did shoot a lot better, and I really do like the gun. So if you've been following the channel, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe. As always, we're gonna chapter mark the video so that if you wanna skip over the background or the history of Canik, you can get right to either the unboxing or the range footage. But for those who don't want to skip over all this amazing stuff that I'm gonna get into, and hopefully at least 90% of it will be accurate, here we go. Canik is a Turkish firearms manufacturer which was established in the early 1990s. The company's roots trace back to the Turkish firm Sahin Silah Sanayi, which is probably not how you say that, but it had been producing firearms for the local military and law enforcement agencies in Turkey. Then, round about 1996, the company officially adopted the new name of Canik, which was a nod to the region in Turkey where its factory is located. In the early years, Canik primarily manufactured pistols and shotguns. The company gained recognition for its production of reliable yet budget-friendly models such as the Canik 100 series, which is an homage, if you will, to the CZ75, which is a nice way of saying they kind of knocked it off.
It's not a rip-off, it's a homage.
Over time, Canik's portfolio expanded and the company began to make firearms for export, including models such as the Canik Shark, which, you guessed it, is another CZ variant. And for those of you who like CZs, these really are great budget-friendly versions of those guns. And I too, I'm a big CZ fan if you've seen some of the other videos. Then they came into partnership with MKEK and started their international expansion. This was a state-owned Turkish defense contractor. And the partnership led to Canik becoming one of Turkey's most well-known gun manufacturers, particularly in the realm of military and law enforcement firearms. A significant milestone for Canik was its partnership with international companies, and most notably with SAI, which stands for Salient Arms International. This partnership led to the creation of the Canik Elite SC and the Canik Rival series, both of which incorporated customizations from SAI's renowned performance tuning. So this collaboration helped Canik break into the competitive shooting market, positioning itself as a contender against major American and international firearms manufacturers. In addition to establishing relationships with those companies, Canik has a relationship with Century Arms, and they are now the exclusive distributor of Canik products in the United States. The Canik TP9SFx especially gained attention from competitive shooters due to its high capacity, accuracy, and modularity. It's one of the most favored handguns in competitive shooting, largely due to its affordability and price point. And it also has some superior features compared to its other competitors, which cost significantly more. So compared to the CZ Shadow 2, which is kind of the big dog in the competition world, and the Walther Q5 Match and the Glock 34, the Canik really offers a great price and value for that price. So the Shadow 2 is really considered a premium competition handgun, but it does come with a higher price tag, and it has exceptional performance, which you would expect from a higher price tag. The Q5 Match is also a premium option. It comes with optic-ready slide and a smooth trigger system, catering to competitive shooters willing to pay a little bit more for those features. And like I said, the Glock 34 remains a popular, affordable, and reliable choice, but for the most part, it's far more utilitarian. But people who like the reliability that goes with Glock, I'm not one of them, really do like shooting the Glock 34. If we look at these guns as to market share of competitive shooters, the Canik now has about 25 to 30% of the competitive shooting market. The CZ Shadow 2 takes 20 to 40%, the Walther Q5 15 to 20, and the Glock 34 15 to 20%. These percentages reflect general trends and preferences within the competitive shooting community. And with Canik's rise in popularity, mostly due to the quality of the gun and the pricing, it looks like it's going to keep growing in market share. The version of the gun that we're going to take a look at is the TP9SFx, which was the predecessor to the Rival. And like I said, at the time I got this gun, I had been looking at it, I had heard amazing things about Caniks. In fact, when I would go to buy some other guns, and you talk to the man at the counter, or the person at the counter, sorry, don't mean to be politically incorrect. When you're talking to them, they had mentioned the Canik, and if they shoot competitively, some of them even said that's the only gun that they feel comfortable shooting with. So I really wanted it, but for someone who wasn't a competitive shooter, did I want to spend that kind of money on it? When the Rival came out, I looked at it. At that time, it was MSRP of around $670, and the SFX was somewhere in the neighborhood of $550 to $600. But as I said, lo and behold, I saw that they had marked this gun down to, I want to say $430, so I got it out the door for $480. That included the background check and the FFL fee. And it did not include, because again, for those of you who follow the channel, I live in Illinois. Cook County apparently feels that they should get $25 for every gun that's sold in the county, so they add an additional tax so that, I don't know, apparently if the tax is paid, those guns aren't used in crimes. But like I said, I was really looking forward to shooting this gun. When they dropped the price, I was pretty happy about it. So let's see what I got for my $480 plus some bleep, 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 $25 Cook County tax. So let's take a look at what is in this really, really nice carrying case, also known as the box. We open it up and no gun, no, there's a lot in this. Oh, and there is the price. So that was, as I said, the original price in the store, and they had marked this down to, like I said, about $420, $425. So that's one of the reasons I got it. I just always like to keep everything in the box. You also get this, let's see, very nice manual, some information about the Canik family, and some information from Century Arms. So we'll put all this back. Then what you get, and like I said, the nice thing about this gun is that you get everything that you really need to compete right out of the box. It's optics ready, but it also comes with all of the different plates, cleaning brush, back strap. Let's take a look. It comes with 4 plates. which is really nice. You can basically do anything with it. Number 1 is for a Vortex Viper. Number 2 is an RMR. Number 3 is an STS2. And number 4 is a Delta Point Pro, which honestly is probably the optic I'm going to put on this. But I like my iron sights on this gun, so I'm kind of reticent to replace them. You get 2 back straps. I believe this is a medium and I think a large. The brush, to clean it, you get a trigger guard. You get a really nice holster for this gun too to use. And you get 2 magazines. Now that was one of the other things that is a reason that I got this gun right away when I saw it, and the price had dropped. I'm in Illinois. We have magazine restrictions. And almost every online store that I saw had 20-round magazines, which means that they would pull those before they sent them to me. But because they actually had them in the store, I got 2 10-round magazines, which they do now offer. You also get a loader, which is nice. The flag, as I said, and then in this little box here, you get a couple more fiber optics if you want to change it. You get some different sized buttons for your magazine release. You get 2 wrenches to adjust both the magazine release and the optics, and you get a charging handle, which is kind of neat. There we go. To put on any of the optic plates. So if you decide you want to do that, you can simply, let's see, maybe not so simply. Anyhow, this, if you have better motor coordination than I do, screws in right here, and then you have a charging handle on the plate so you can rack the gun. Oh, there we go. Like that. You got to work it into place a little bit. But if you want to do that, you certainly can. And I think that's just, I mean, it's a really, really nice package for you know, 500 or below 500 out the door. Anyhow, now that we have looked at what's in the case is actually really nice too. Now that we've looked at what's in the box, let's take a look at the gun itself. We'll clear it too, by the way, so this is obviously clear. And we will make this go away, poof. So the sights on this are just magnificent. This is a Warren Tactical fiber optic sight front and a target back. It is not serrated, but honestly, the sight picture on this is just lovely. It's got serrations across the top of the slide to help with the glare. And this is optics ready. So you can take this off. Now the bad part is you do lose the back sight, which is basically just a standard dovetail sight, so you could replace this if you want. But you'll lose that if you put an optics plate on. If you do put an optics plate on, Canik does recommend using some blue Loctite or a similar thread locking adhesive to fasten the optics plate to the slide. And then Canik advises tightening the screws somewhere between 10 to 12 pounds, which is about ballpark. I don't like to go over 15 so that you don't do any damage. But again, the downside to that, and it almost hurts me because I like the sights on this gun so much, is you're going to lose the rear sights and you're going to be shooting a red dot. The slide also has these lightning cuts in it, or windows, and it has front and rear serrations, and they are really, really nice. So it racks relatively well, and I'm doing that with a messed up hand, so it's not terribly hard to do. There is an indicator right there which when it is in the hot mode, you will see, we're going to pull the trigger just to let you see, it goes away. So you know that it is cocked and ready to shoot if that indicator is out, and then it goes away. The slide release on this gun also just really, really nice, and it's extended. The gun takes down somewhat like a Glock, so that's what these are for, and we'll get into that in a bit. This is what they call a tungsten gray Cerakote finish over phosphate. I have no idea what any of that means, but it means it wears pretty well. Again, it has a standard Picatinny rail. The mag release on this gun is ambidextrous, and as I pointed out, it has 3 different size buttons, so you can change them if you like. It works really nicely. The magazine well also has a bit of beveling on it, so that just makes it easier to do quick changes. And the trigger has a trigger safety mechanism on it, which basically means that if you don't depress the entire middle of the trigger, the gun will not discharge, right? So you need to put your finger on the whole thing, and that is the safety mechanism for this. This gun does not have a magazine disconnect, at least not this version. I think if there are California legal versions, they must have that because I believe that's a requirement. Again, I'm not sure, but if you have one of these in California, please drop a comment and let us know. The dimensions on this gun, this is a 9mm striker fire gun. The length on this gun is 8.27 inches, with the match barrel inside being 5.2 inches. The height on the gun is 6.2 inches. The width is 1.3 inches, and the weight on this gun is 29.28 ounces. So let's weigh it real quick and see where it comes in. And we'll put a magazine in. 29.07 ounces. So empty, so it's right about there. Okay. In regard to the ergonomics on this gun, again, you have 2 back straps that you can choose from. I really just like this gun. I mean, it suits my hand very well, and it just feels absolutely lovely to me. So the texturing is kind of perfect. It's not too aggressive. It gives me a good enough grip that I'm not worried about the gun slipping at all. There is a pad on the gun as well for my thumb. And again, I just really, really like the way this gun feels in my hand. I like the way the trigger operates. There's not much about this gun that I don't like. The only thing I would have liked is if it had some rear sights that stayed on it with an optics plate. In regard to the trigger, it is just a really, really beautiful trigger. It goes right back to a wall, and there is little to no creep. So you're at the wall, and again, it just breaks crisp and clean, and the reset on the gun is very short and audible. So that, would allow you to shoot quickly and accurately. I don't actually know what the trigger weight is on this, so we're gonna give it a couple of pulls and see where it comes out. And let's pop that out. So looks like 2 pounds, 5.1 ounces. £2, 3.4 ounces. Well, that would explain why I like this gun. That's a really nice trigger. £2, 9.7 ounces. So the trigger was breaking with less than 3 pounds of pressure pretty regularly. So that's really, really nice. Again, for competition, that's lovely, I would imagine. All right, so we're gonna just break it down one more time. And again, it supposedly breaks down like a Glock. If you're a Glock guy, you know that better than I. So you have these 2 buttons, which for me, honestly, are much easier than a Glock. Got to get a little Glock hating in every video, so apologies if you like Glock. Not really. Pull the trigger, slide it forward. There you go. And again, the gun kind of just breaks apart the way a normal would. You take out the guide rod and the springs, remove the barrel, and then for a gun that shoots so incredibly smooth, I'm just kind of shocked at how tiny, the rails are on this. But you know what? That's probably why I'm not a gun designer, because I really do love this gun. So who knows? Maybe that's why the ergonomics work so well on this gun. Then you just slide it back in, and literally, it's back together. So this gun is just a lot of fun to shoot, and like I said, I love the trigger. And speaking of loving the trigger, why don't we take a look at how the trigger actually works with bullets in the gun? So we're going to take a look at how it shoots at the range, and then we'll come back and give you some final thoughts on the Canik TP9SFx. That's not bad for 15 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, down here. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, 5. These were all together. 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
That might be 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
because all of these were
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll still take that. That's
Yeah.
not, although that's kind of a big. So, my final thoughts on the Canik TP9SFx. It's a great gun. Honestly, I probably shoot this gun better than I shoot any other gun I own. And I haven't shot it a lot, which is also a good indication. I'm going to use it a lot more because we shoot so many guns here that I don't really get to fine-tune my skills with any one particular one, and I'm not good enough that I have just a set of blanket skills that transfer from gun to gun to gun, right? But I really did enjoy this, and I think it made me a more accurate and a better shooter, and it did it with a little bit of ease. So that's kind of what I really look for in a gun. And I've also got to say that it's probably one of the best budget-friendly competition pistols out there. You know, as you could tell by what comes in the box, it really is competition ready the second you open the box. You have your holster, you have your sights, you have literally pretty much everything you need to just go right out and compete. Now, if you have a rival, or if you're looking between the SFX and the Rival, I've shot the Rival. It's nominally better than the SFX, in my opinion. Now, if you have both, or if you've shot both, I'd be really curious if you don't mind leaving a comment and your input as to which you prefer. I kind of like the SFX better myself, and so for the money difference, for sure, I like this gun better. Let me know your thoughts, though, on this gun. If you have them, if you shot them, if you shoot in competition, I would love to know what your rig is and how you set this gun up and what your results are. Now, side note, because this is mostly a competition gun, but it also does have a Picatinny rail on it, and it's drop safe, which is kind of surprising to me, because that means that there's a firing pin block in there. And usually a firing pin block makes the trigger less responsive. But this is one of my very favorite triggers, honestly. It doesn't mean, by the way, that it's one of the best triggers out there. It just means I happen to work well with this trigger and like it. Anyhow, I do love this gun. I recommend it highly if you're interested in something like this. Please give us a thumbs up if you'd like this video. Drop a comment, subscribe, and see you next time on the Gun Guy channel.